First, let's talk about the stream. You might find that your students have been cluttering it up with a lot of nonsensical comments. This can make it really hard to find important things. You might miss questions from your students that matter, and your students might have trouble finding things that you've posted. You can get rid of this by clicking on the three dots and clicking delete. Of course, if you have a lot of these, that's going to take some time. You can change the settings for the class stream in the gear in the General tab. Besides stream, there's this drop-down menu that'll let you decide how much your students can interact with the stream. So the default setting is that students can create new posts and comment on posts that are there. You can change this to that they can only comment on the posts you create, or better yet, put that just you can make those posts and comments on the stream. It's not a bad idea to do in the online learning setting, just to keep things clean and make sure that you can get those important items right up front when your students need to see them. Now I want to share some suggestions with you for things that you might find could be helpful with organizing your classwork page. I've reset up all the topics on my page here to reflect this online learning schedule. So rather than creating an assignment for each week, I'm creating a topic for each week and then putting the individual assignments inside. At the top of my topics, I have one each for LA and math where I've got my permalinks. So these are materials. You can see that from the little icon here, it looks different. And this icon looks the same on the student side. So from here, I can keep these right at the top. As I'm creating new topics each week, you just have to move that topic down below your materials to keep those at the top. You can move the topics around by just clicking the three little dots. The nice thing about this setup is there's a navigation now on the left-hand side that I can use to find each week. The students see this setup also, so it makes it easy for them to choose one or the other subject and focus in on what they need to do. So let's have a look at how the week is set up. I've placed an assignment at the very top of the classwork page. By just not putting it into a topic, it appears here. It would be my intent that the students would start with this document, they'd read it over, where it has the instructions and lists out their assignments for the week. I've also asked them on this document to make sure that they turn it in when they're done, just to let me know that everybody has at least accessed the materials for the week. I've got a couple quick links in here that'll take them directly to these topic pages in Google Classroom, just to make it easier for them as they're going to do this task. Now down in my math and LA topics for the week. So we've already set up the new topic for the week. As you can see, this one has nothing in it, and the math one has been set up a little bit. To add something to the topics, of course, I have to start with the create button. And that's also how you can create a new topic for each week. And then I want to go in and put in an assignment. So if I'm creating a new language arts assignment, I have to give it a title before some of this stuff pops up and lights up for you. Put some good instructions in here that are worded so that your students will understand them. Make sure to attach any files that you want to include to send out. And don't forget to use the copy feature if needed. If you post an assignment and you forget to do that make a copy feature, or you add something to an assignment and want it to make a copy, it won't do that. It will only make a copy for new students on a new assignment creation. So it's really important you don't miss that step if that's your intention. If you had something you wanted to add, this setup would also then make that easy, because you would just be adding something into that topic for the week rather than trying to edit an existing assignment. So I've got a new assignment here all ready to go. I want to point out a few things over here on the right-hand side that you should look at before posting. If you're not going to be grading assignments, change them to ungraded. This will let Google Classroom know that when you're returning work that doesn't have a mark on it, that it doesn't need to be resubmitted by the students. You should also make sure to include a due date. This is going to keep everything in chronological order for your students and show them past due items that they are missing. Anything that's late is red, so it's a good idea to have these due dates to keep the kids on track. You can set it for the Friday of each week. That'll let the kids know if they get behind and what's coming up for the week. Go ahead and add it to our language arts topic for the week and click Assign. Now let's have a look at the classwork page from the student side. So the students have the nice navigation here where they can pick out topic and week and see what's facing them for the week. We missed there up at the top is this weekly message that was sent out. The little blue icons mean that he hasn't handed this work in yet, and gray icons mean that things are finished. These two are materials, so that just means all he had to do was click them one time, and that turned that link from gray to blue. So for the students, as they work through and actually do the virtual turn-in here in Google Classroom, these little blue icons turn gray, and it gives them a nice overview of what they've got still coming right here on the classwork page. And then, of course, they can also choose to look at one specific week at a time. In the training video that we sent out for students, we instructed students to make sure that they always open the assignment page by either clicking the link like I did just there, or we'll just go back to the classwork page. From here, clicking on View Assignment. That opens the assignment up in its own page with the instructions here. So if you do have lots of long instructions, you can include them on that assignment creation page. They'll just fill in all the way through here. And then any class comments that students have put on will be here. Now, that must have been turned off when we turned off that toggle switch on the teacher's side. So you would have to have the students allowed to post comments, and they would be able to post public comments here, and that means the other students would be able to read and respond to them. And then they always have this option over here at the side to send you a private comment. So same thing in the video for students, they were told that the best way to ask a teacher a question about an assignment was to go to this screen and then use the private comment box. So hopefully they will do that, and it will help you stay on top of all of the troubleshooting and whatnot with assignments as well. And here is the elusive turn in button. So if you've been using Google Docs, it has a turn in button on it automatically for students. When they open it up, it's just right there. Is this one a Google Doc? It is. So when Dan is working with these problems, when he's finished answering them, the turn in button's right here on the document for him, which is really handy. Now with other things like slides or PDFs, sheets and stuff like that, that turn in button doesn't appear there, but it is always here right in Classroom. So this applies to everything attached to this assignment, which is a reason why it's a good idea to only put one activity or task per assignment. That way the kids are actually marking each individual task as done. Even if you just have something like showing like watch this video, post the link to the video, put in the instructions, watch the video. Don't forget to come back and mark it down when you're finished with it. That's going to turn that little symbol gray on your side so that you can see if you have more work to do. So, just let the kids know that. That's a really great way for them to visually stay on top, but they have to make sure that they're doing the turn in button. Google always reminds them before they turn things in that they can do that too. If you've had issues with the stuff that's being copied out not being what they need to hand back into you, and so now they're emailing you things that they created to attach to these assignments, we've also shown them in that video, and you can point out to them also that they can add or create anything right here. So if Dan had somehow made a copy of this document on his own that he worked on and his answers weren't on this one that's linked here, he could just go to his Google Drive and find the one that he worked on and attach it here instead. He could even click the X and get rid of this one that Google Classroom copied for him. This is important to notice because it would be really easy for students to just accidentally remove something from their assignment. So when they tell you that things are missing, it's very possible that that has happened. Where it's showing this on the left-hand side on the screen, this is a condensed version of the whole to-do list. So we could get to it quickly by clicking here, or anywhere in Classroom by going on the menu and to the to-do as well. This is a nice overview of all of the work that a student has been assigned. And you can see, because these have due dates on them, they're popping up red, anything that's late, and also the stuff that's due tomorrow already even. So this is a good place for students to stay on top of things also, and then clicking any of these links would open that assignment page. This was a question assignment that they were asked to do. So again, the student view on the classwork page, it's nicely organized with the topics here by week. It makes it easy for the students to get around, and it makes it easy for them to go and turn in some of their work. Now back on the teacher side, let's look at how this organization can help you stay on track as well. So I could just click on any of these assignments and see right away how many students have turned it in and make sure that it has actually been sent out to everybody. You can just expand these by clicking on them. You could also go into that full page view here, and this will bring up all of the student work. So the teacher view here is very different from the students. This is where we would see the students' actual assignments. There have been some issues with this stuff not appearing nicely here, or things being missing. It seems like sometimes even clicking into these boxes or sending the student a private message, just click on a student and send them an email that says hi even, will make that work appear. If students hadn't made the copies yet, they may not appear here either. For the teachers, that to-do list is really handy also, because it actually shows you all right on one screen what you've got out there, what's turned in, and you can kind of just get a general overview of what's happening. And then right from here, we could go straight into any of these assignment pages and start going through the student work also. Now let's look at how we will manage the student work as it's coming back in. So this was the IXL assignment that just had a mark as done. It's a good idea to make things like this an assignment and use that button so that students are letting you know that they've done whatever was assigned to them at that task. So even if it means going out to a different website and doing something for a time that you're going to be tracking on that site, put it here as an assignment so they can just mark it done, and it keeps a nice record for you and the students of what's been completed and what's happening. It shows here that Dan has turned this in, meaning he's completed the work, and there's no grading boxes because we've turned off the grading for this assignment. So there isn't really anything to do here except for let Dan know that I know he's done, and I've gone out and looked at his IXL practice. We can just go ahead and return it and give Dan a comment. Back on Dan's side, when he opens the assignment, he can see your private comment that you're happy that he's mastered this skill. They have this resubmit button, and there's no guarantee that they won't hit it. It does tell them right here that it is returned. By putting in a private comment, that can help make sure that they don't think that they need to resubmit their assignment. And one more little thing. I have a topic all the way down at the bottom of my topics that I'm going to leave there, where each week I'll move that weekly message to. So right now, it's this week's message. I don't have it assigned to a topic, so it's going to live here on the top of my class page. When I'm ready to do next week's weekly message, I'll just edit this assignment and change the topic to that past weekly messages page so that it still stays here, but it gets put away at the bottom.